Hey, welcome to The Walk. The idea of redemption being symbolically linked to water and to rivers is something that has been going on for a long time. In the book of Psalms, we read this: "There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells." Elsewhere in the Old Testament, the prophet Ezekiel describes that living water as flowing from the very foundation of the New Jerusalem. And it's symbolic. It symbolizes God's grace. I gotta admit, I love that picture of God's grace as a flowing river, as living water. I remember years and years ago reading something that Bono, the lead singer of the group U2, said about why he was a follower of Jesus Christ. He talked about how he'd been all over the world and he had seen plenty of evidence that what he called karma existed. He said you can chalk it up to the laws of physics or you can chalk it up to something spiritual, but he'd been everywhere and he'd seen that there just was a universal truth, that for every action there was an equal and opposite reaction. If you did something wrong, payback was coming. He was so convinced of karma, but he said the one thing that he had seen that caused him to rethink everything was the fact that grace exists and that grace stops karma right in its tracks. Grace gave a pardon where condemnation was deserved. He said, how could anybody turn away from that? In the Bible, the Apostle John talks about how we experience that kind of grace. He said, if we confess our sins, He is faithful and righteous to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. That's pretty straightforward. We just take a time out and we inventory our lives. We make note of the self-destructive behavior that we have engaged in. And then we admit it to Jesus. Then He comes and cleanses us from all of that, what the Bible calls unrighteousness, which again is just self-destructive behavior. He pours down His grace like living water all over us, and it makes us new. It redeems us. That is truly radical. Because you think about it for a minute, in our world, in our culture, if we do something wrong, if we break a rule at work, if we drive too fast in our cars, if we do something in a relationship and we get caught, there's a price that's going to be paid. There's a reckoning that's due. And frankly, it's deserved. The authority or the supervisor or the one in charge is going to come in at that point and deliver a punishment for the thing that we have done wrong. But that verse from John says that our God is not interested in punishing us for the things that we've done wrong. He is interested in renewing us, in redeeming us. He wants us to grasp what it is that we've done wrong, the self-destructive behavior that we've engaged in. He wants us to mature and be able to see that behavior and see how it really harmed us, and then to be able to change that pattern, to do it right the next time so that we don't experience that pain. That's why we're supposed to confess it to Him, so that we can see it and so that we can recognize His grace pouring over us and cleansing us of it, so that we can be amazed by it and recognize that going forward He's there to help us be redeemed, to be renewed. How cool is that?